My husband and I have been looking for Killstorm our entire marriage. When I first met my husband the first week, he told me that Killstorm existed and that he couldn't find him, but he will spend the rest of his life looking, and that I needed to be prepared for that. My husband and I have traveled up and down the East Coast and across the country. We couldn't find Killstorm because it was the 80s and 90s and there was no social media. So we did it the old-fashioned way, beating the pavement, looking in phone books, looking up public records and making phone calls. When social media like Facebook came out, we used that to try and find Killstorm. My wife and this lady talked for a long time. My bio father's wife then asked a question. What is Killstorm's full name? First, last and middle. My wife told her the information and then she responded. No wonder we couldn't find him all these years. His mother told my husband his name was something different. She gave my husband the wrong middle and last name. I'm at work and my wife is telling me all of this information. Of course you could have knocked me over with a feather. I am literally at work saying to myself that I just spoke this up last night. I spoke it into the universe. I get off work, go home, and I call this man. He tells me this story. I was a young man in the military. I was stationed on a military base. He tells me a story about how my mother was married to my father, but she somehow ended up living with him for a brief period of time when her and my father separated. During that time she became pregnant with me. She knew he was the father, but for some reason she ended up going back to my dad and claiming that he was the father. In hindsight, it probably has something to do with the fact that she was legally married to my father and they were married on a military base, if I had to guess. This man begins to tell me that my mother gave birth to me on base. A few weeks later she brought me to his house to let him hold me for a little bit. She then told him that they were moving tomorrow and this was the last time he was ever going to see me. This man tells me how sorry he is about the whole thing. He tells me that he was a stupid kid doing stupid shit. He tells me that he gave my mother his SS number and some kind of military number ID thing that they issue to every soldier. He then tells me that my mother told him my name was something completely different. I eventually confront my mother a week later. I needed some time to process this information and to forgive her before confronting her. My mother lied about everything, claiming she doesn't know this man and talking a bunch of nonsense. She is my mother and I can tell when she is lying. Eventually she kind of comes around to admitting she might have gotten a car ride or something from this man but can't remember because it was almost 40 years ago. Long story short, I stopped talking to my mother forever, but it has nothing to do with this story, the father thing. She is just a bad person and always keep crap going and always have drama. I just made a decision not to hang around people that are just bad people in their core. The man I called my father my entire life was devastated and took him a few months to get over it, but we are good and nothing changed between us. He said it was still worth it at the end because he still got me out of the deal. My bio dad and are cool. He is big into stocks and stuff and made good money over the years and has been teaching, giving me info on stocks and stuff. My mother thought she would never have to deal with my bio father all those years ago in the 80s when she walked away with me, and that her lies would never be found out. She could have never predicted that in the future there would be this thing called the internet and you could spit into a tube and match with people all around the world.